Ivan Perisic. Everybody has been waiting on updates on Ivan Perisic. We did a video on Monday saying the next 48 hours, the intention was for this Ivan Perisic to Manchester United move to be completed. And that was absolutely the case. You saw reports coming out on, what was it, Monday night from The Telegraph, The Mirror, The Guardian, Manchester Evening News. Everybody reporting the same thing. It was a brief from Manchester United that the club were confident that they were going to push over a deal for Perisic before Tuesday is over. And why was Tuesday so important? That's because Inter Milan, they were flying out to China for their pre-season tour. But Ivan Perisic is part of that squad that has travelled. As you can see with that photo there, he's looking very happy to be there. But Ivan Perisic has flown out to China with the Inter Milan squad. What does that mean for his potential move to Manchester United? If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll run through them after I've explained the story. But Ivan Perisic, as I said, is now going to China. He's going to be part of Inter Milan's pre-season tour. That doesn't mean that his move to Manchester United isn't going to happen, but it certainly complicates it, because the idea was that Man United were going to get that deal done. Obviously, the whole sticking point over Ivan Perisic to Manchester United has been the transfer fee. Ed Woodward was refusing to pay the around £45 million for the 28-year-old. But Inter Milan were holding firm, saying that they were not going to let him go for any less. Now, the reports came out, now this is James Ducker who's reporting this, writes for The Telegraph, and for me, he's one of the best Manchester-based journalists. He's saying that Man United were absolutely confident that the compromise over that price could be agreed before Tuesday, before Perisic flies out to China. Man United have failed to do that, and because of that, that's our own fault. As I said, we're arguing over, what, I would say £5 to £6 million in this transfer fee. Whether that is down towards the payment and how much is paid up front, how much overall is paid for Perisic. Man United are making it difficult for themselves because we are trying so hard to get our price for Perisic that Inter Milan don't want. And because of that, we failed to negotiate a deal for Perisic before Inter Milan have flown out to China. That means, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this one's clearly going to drag on even more. Because all of us hoped, and that's why that 48 hours was so crucial, that the deal would be done before the end of play on Tuesday. And unless something drastic happens here, unless a deal's already been agreed and Perisic is still flying out to China, that wouldn't happen. But Man United have failed to negotiate a price at this point. That's exactly why Perisic has flown out. Let's read a few of your comments. Do we have an alternative to Perisic? Let me know on that in the comments below, because that's a bit of a confusing one, because I don't really know that many alternatives to someone like Perisic. I've had Marco Reus thrown at me, Carrasco from Atletico Madrid, but I don't really feel that either of those are the same type of player as Perisic. I've made it clear that I would prefer Man United to sign Alexis Sanchez in terms of personnel, but in terms of what Perisic would bring to the team, and he's a crosser, he's a natural winger, he's somebody who will bring real width to that left-hand flank. Something that we didn't have last season with Luke Shaw not playing that much. Matteo Darmian, he certainly didn't overlap on the left-hand side. Valencia put in 142 crosses last year. Perisic put in 190 odd. The third player at Manchester United was Marcus Rashford with 60. That's how few crosses our wingers put in last season. And with Lukaku coming into this team, that is why Perisic makes so much sense for Mourinho. He's building towards Lukaku, and I feel that is why it's so important. But Man United failed to negotiate a price, and Ed Woodward, you know, look at last summer. Excellent negotiations for Mkhitaryan, for Bailly. Pogba was really drawn out. But Man United this summer have got Victor Lindelof and have got, who's the second signing we made? I've completely forgotten. Lukaku. I don't know why that name left my head there. We've got these two players. But this Perisic one is really dragging on, and lots of you are commenting about Fabinho, commenting about Matic. Matic and the whole move for him has been complicated by our pursuit of Lukaku and the fact that we stole him from Chelsea. Now, I don't know whether that means that we can't sign Matic, but we're looking at Fabinho as, why have you not signed him already, Mourinho? We need a defensive midfielder. He can also play right back. Ticks all the boxes and would only cost around 45 million. Plenty of comments coming in saying that they don't like Matic and they would rather sign Fabinho. I understand why. But then you understand that Jose Mourinho brought Matic back to Chelsea from Benfica. Maybe he's going to do the same thing again. But how are you feeling about this Perisic deal? Do you feel that Man United should we just cut our losses? Just say, look, we can't negotiate a price for him. Let's move on. Let's go somewhere else. And if we do go somewhere else, let me know in the comments what other left wingers are available in the market that are like Perisic. Somebody who is a real winger. Somebody whose first intention is to get to the byline and swing across him. I don't know how many alternatives to Perisic there are in the market, and maybe Inter Milan know that as well. And maybe that's why they're striking such a hard bargain with Manchester United. For what is a 28-year-old player who's technically in the prime, he's not going to be any more expensive than he is this summer. But Inter Milan want to hold on to him, and they really are digging their heels in. And when you look at AC Milan and what they're doing this summer, going crazy, maybe they just don't want to become a selling club. Read through a few of your comments here. Mahrez coming in there. Mahrez is definitely not a winger, surely. Well, I definitely wouldn't say that. James Forrest from Celtic. Okie dokie. I don't know much about James Forrest or Celtic because I don't watch the Scottish League because I've got better things to do with my life. But as I said, I completely understand Mourinho's, not his obsession, but the fact that Man United keep going after Perisic and the fact that we haven't gone away from these negotiations. Because I don't know any other alternatives in the market like that. And somebody who can bring that style of play to Manchester United. Someone there saying, I really hope we go for Sanchez. You know, Sanchez, let's look at the Neymar news coming out. Apparently, PSG, 220 million euros in Neymar. Sounds ridiculous, but there's reliable journalists in Brazil that are saying that is the case. We'll find out what goes on there. But Man United and Ed Woodward, they love a good marquee signing. So if Neymar's available, I know we're never going to pay the price, but come on. Ousmane Dembele, quite a few of you saying it there, and there's someone I do like. Dembele, I'm guessing you're talking about the Dortmund one. He is mint. But again, let's see what goes on there because I've not seen Man United linked with Dembele. And we've seen us linked with James Rodriguez. He moved to Bayern Munich, but he wasn't a left winger in the same style as Ivan Perisic. I really don't think we've been properly linked to another left winger like Perisic. That's kind of what I think. Do I think this is another smokescreen, says somebody else? Now, I did say this last week when stories came out that Man United were after Eric Dyer and Ivan Perisic. It just felt like a smokescreen. But remember that not every single transfer is a smokescreen. Some of them have to go through. Some of them are real. And Man United have been consistently linked with Ivan Perisic for a long, long time. All the reliable journalists the whole way through have been following it. Now, it's comment there saying, wasn't it 48 hours away? I knew that was bullshit. But these 48 hours were crucial for Man United. And what we have done, we have failed to negotiate that price before Inter Milan have gone on that pre-season tour. Mourinho's not going to be happy at that. Ed Woodward has failed in that part of his job there. He needed to get that done. Because now that he's gone out there, it's going to delay anything by another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And what are we? July the 18th now. The season starts in less than a month's time. Man United have secured 2 signings. 2 key signings. But Man United do need more. People talking about Lemar from Monaco. Obviously, Arsenal are trying their hardest to sign him, but they haven't signed him yet. That would be a good signing. I haven't seen that much of Lemar, I'll be honest, but if you guys and girls think that he's a good option, then why wouldn't he be? But I think the fact that I'm struggling to identify too many left wingers who are available in the market, I think that's sort of indicative of exactly why we're trying so hard with Perisic, somebody who's Mourinho and his scouts have identified as a perfect player to come into this team and start whipping those crosses in to Lukaku. Gareth Bale says Jamie Tate, sorry. I'd take him. I think anybody would take him. But obviously with David De Gea and the whole situation with Real Madrid there, we're not going to deal with Real Madrid this summer. I'll be honest. Fuck Madrid, says somebody there. Renato Sanchez, great comment there from Fakanami. Renato Sanchez, you know, we do need a central midfielder this summer. Everybody knows that. Renato Sanchez, he's 19. He won Young Player of the Tournament Euro 2016. Joined Bayern Munich and then just sat on the bench. Mourinho has already said that, you know, had I been in here earlier, I think I would have sealed a deal for Renato Sanchez. So why don't you go back in and get him in now? Mendy there, someone saying Benjamin Mendy from Monaco and switch into a 3-5-2 formation with wing-backs. We did play 3-5-2 against LA Galaxy. Maybe we are going to switch formation and sort of play with more fullbacks, but the fact that Mourinho's going so hard for Ivan Perisic sort of tells me that we are going to stick to that 4-3-3 and then go on the left wing with a proper winger, whether that be Martial next season, whether that be Perisic next season, somebody there on the left wing. Naby Keita says somebody else. Obviously, he's the central midfielder who Liverpool are after. But Man United certainly needs to get a central midfielder. Everybody is completely in the same boat with that. Everybody knows that we need a central midfielder. There's so many comments coming in about Fabinho, and that is a real strange one. Like, I completely agree with every single one of you. Why have we not got him in already? And the pure fact that Man United haven't got him in already tells me that Jose Mourinho has got his eyes on other targets first. That even if we have got our eye on Fabinho, he's not Mourinho's first choice. Maybe Matic is that first choice. Maybe Bakayoko was further up that list, but I don't think we were ever in for him. So Renato is going to AC Milan, says Josh Ford. AC Milan, they can't stop signing players, man. Insigne and Mertens of Napoli. Again, haven't watched too much of Napoli, too much of Serie A, so I can't really say much about those two players, fella. We need a Vinnie Jones, one hard fucker in centre mid. Well, Andres Pereira's apparently playing central midfield now. We've got Ander Herrera as well. He's not really a hard bastard, but he's a right snidey git, and I love having him in my team. Do we need a hard bastard in midfield? We need a tackler. We need somebody who's just going to win the ball back and pass it to somebody else to start creating from midfield. Inaki Williams, Mertens, another one coming in there. Vidal, Draxler, names galore. But what we're seeing here is exactly the problem. Just names galore. Just throw as many names into the pot as possible. But Mourinho doesn't do that. Mourinho's got his targets, and he's been going hard and long now for Ivan Perisic. But Man United have failed to agree that deal beforehand. And I don't see the point in it anymore. I think Man United are we're only shooting ourselves in the foot now. Just give the extra few million to Inter Milan, get Ivan Perisic over the line, get him sorted, and we can move on to another fucking target. Because as you're all getting frustrated, so am I reporting all of this. Because it should have been done in the last 48 hours before Inter fly out on tour. But we didn't do it. So it's our own fault for that. And now we're going to be sitting here with another week or two of frustrations, slow-moving negotiations, etc., etc. That's all our own fault. That is it for the Ivan Perisic update before I start waffling about anything else. There's tons of you watching, tons of you commenting, so make sure you guys and girls hit that subscribe button down there, because we're going to be doing lots more of these as we always do every single day. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take it easy.